All right, I'm going to get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Matthew Marshall. I'm the ePlan State Tier 2 Coordinator for University of Texas, Dallas. Today we'll be talking about how to use ePlan to submit a Tier 2 report that is due March 1st of every year. That means it's due in the next couple days. A little housekeeping. I am recording this webinar to be posted on YouTube. Currently, we have 6 YouTube videos. This is the 6th webinar of the year, and we will be posting this on the YouTube site as well. And I'll be able to show you how to access that as we move through the presentation. And like I said earlier, if you do have any questions, please submit them through the question portal, and at the end I will then answer the questions as they're asked. So a little bit about me, so you understand where I am and who I am. I am a consultant with University of Texas. I've been working for them approximately 5 years. My full-time job, though, is I am a firefighter, a lieutenant on an engine company in Florida. So as I talk about this, I have a unique perspective in that I also use the information that you're putting in a Tier 2 report as a first responder. As the law states, this is for first responders to learn about the chemicals you have on site. Even though it is a federal mandate, the federal government does not have access to this information unless the local jurisdiction or the state allows them to have access. With that being said, I will start the webinar now, and thank you for joining us. In order to submit Tier 2 report, the law states under 40 CFR 370.10 who must comply with the hazardous chemical reporting requirements. It says that you must report if OSHA requires your facility to prepare or have available the SDS for a hazardous chemical, and if either of these 2 criteria are met. Number 1, it is an EHS chemical, an extremely hazardous substance, that is present at your facility, equal to 500 pounds or the threshold planning quantity, whichever is less. How do I know if my chemical is an EHS or what the threshold planning quantity is? There is a list out there called the Consolidated List of Lists put out by the EPA. You can Google it, or I can show you where to access it on ePlan. So let me say that again. If the chemical is an EHS, an extremely hazardous substance, and is present at your facility at or equal to the amount of 500 pounds or the threshold planning quantity, whichever is least, you must submit a Tier 2 report. If it is a non-EHS chemical, such as diesel fuel and others, then that is 10,000 pounds. And yes, it is in pounds. And no, ePlan does not have a converter to go from pounds to gallons or gallons to pounds or anything like that. You must find that out on your own. The other thing that ePlan cannot do is tell you whether or not you need to submit a Tier 2 report. The law states that you as industry must figure that out. I'm sorry, but we can't take that liability on and say yes or no to you. But what I will say is, if you ask me the question, I'm going to point to the law, and the law states EHS chemicals at 500 pounds or the threshold planning quantity, whichever is least, and non-EHSs are 10,000 pounds at any one time. Also, a misnomer is that people put in cumulatives, and it's not cumulatives, it is at any one time. So if you have 1 pound a day, then you have 1 pound at any one time. It's not 365 pounds or 366 pounds. So if you have 505 pounds one day and 400 pounds the next day, then you must submit if it's an EHS and you have more than 500 pounds. I hope that clarifies some information for you. So the website that we're going to be talking about is erplan.net. If you remember erplan.net, then you go to the online Tier 2 e-submittal page, which is on the right-hand side of your submittal page. The login page, which is circled there. Also on the left-hand side, you'll see some links. The link that is cut off is actually the consolidated Tier 2 list of lists. So if you're interested in that, you can actually click on the one below. The disasterassistance.gov is actually the consolidated list of lists. Okay? So erplan.net. Once I log into erplan.net, it'll come up with a screen similar to this. I'm going to go over some of the important notes so you can see. So as of now, number 1 is going to go away because today is the last webinar that we're having, because number 2 says completed Tier 2 forms for reporting for year 2016 are due March 1st, 2017. March 1st, 2017 at 11:59. If you submit on March 2nd, you are in violation of the law, and you could be fined upwards of $30-some thousand per violation per day. So let me reiterate that one more time. Completed Tier 2 forms for reporting year 2016, we're always a year behind, are due March 1st at 11:59 p.m. For reporting year 2016, UT Dallas and ePlan instituted an administrative charge for certain states. If you would like to know which states they are, you can click on the administrative charge or the list, and it'll take you through that, as well as a step-by-step guide. So, just to reiterate our 2016 reporting year, the states that accept ePlan are Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Montana, New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Also the county of Warren County, Ohio, as well as many counties as Chesapeake, Hopewell, Patrick, Pittsylvania, Richmond City, Smythe County, Virginia Beach, and Waynesboro in Virginia. So the administrative fee for ePlan is for Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, New York, and Tennessee. Free are South Carolina and Montana and Warren County, Ohio. Florida and North Carolina has a fee specific to that state. All right. Also, for the names that are listed there, this suffices for submitting to those states and counties, but you must contact your LEPC and your fire department to make sure that they are what system that they would like it in. Some like it in paper, as some like it in Tier 2 submit files, and I'll show you where you can export those. And under number 7, ePlan Online Tier 2 training video, if you click here to watch, that will be our YouTube channel. So all of our webinars are on there, and you can click on that and use that information. Okay. On the right-hand side, we have our sign-in. You should have received, or in the past, have an Access ID number for your facility. Just for information purposes, that Access ID is not for a person. It is actually for the company. So we have multiple companies that use the same Access ID for many different facilities and many different people that can log in. If you forget your Access ID, please use the Forgot Access ID button, and you're able to then, it will send an email to you with your Access ID. If you are new, but your company has used ePlan before, please use the Contact Us button at the bottom and give us the company's names and address for the facility, and we can send you your Access ID number. If this is the first time you've ever submitted a Tier 2 report and you need to start new, you use the Create a New Account But if your company has submitted before in the states mentioned above, please use the Contact Us button to get your Access ID. Once I log in under my Access ID, I am able to take my information from the previous year and copy it to this year. So as you can see, this company, this Access ID has filed many years from 2015 back to 2010. So the first thing I need to do is file from a previous year. So I use my from previous year, go from 2014 or 2015, and then I put in my, oh, sorry, wrong way. I put 2016, so I changed it to 2015, 2016, and then I click Copy Data. And this will copy my data from the previous year to the new year. Once my data is copied, it'll show that it is ready to go, and I am able to click the 2016. And when I click the 2016, it will take me to my 2016 online filing home. So once I get here, these are the companies that are facilities that I have underneath my company Access ID. If I need to search my existing companies, if I have more than a few, I can use the search existing facilities at the top, such as a facility ID, which is given to you by ePlan, a facility name, street address, city, county, or however you would like to search. Underneath that, you'll see following is the submitted facility information, and then Legend Help. Under Legend Help, this will help you determine what the buttons on ePlan mean. On the right-hand side, you'll see Add New Facility. This is if you need to add a new facility to your filing. And then the next one is a Delete a Facility. This is where you can delete your facility. So in 2016, that facility didn't have any chemicals on it for the year. You're able to click on your facility and delete it so that you're able to, or not having to submit a Tier 2 report that year for that chemical. Okay, so now we're going to go through the ABC Chemical Company just to make sure the facility information is correct and I'm able to submit it. So I will click on my company, the facility name, which is ABC Chemical Company. When I click on ABC Chemical Company, it takes me to my facility information. This is where I'm going to double check to make sure that my information is correct. My facility name is correct. My company name is correct. This is also where I can add facility notes. So if I would like the first responders to know that we closed this facility in July of 2016, I can put in there closed July of 2016. Or if we removed all the chemicals, we still need to submit, but we can put in the date under the facility notes of, hey, we changed processes to non-hazardous chemicals on June 13th, and we're able to close the facility after that. We need to put in our physical address as well as our mailing address. Underneath our location, this is where we would like you to use the validate latitude and longitude. If you do not have a latitude and longitude in here, please use the lookup latitude and longitude button to then put in the specific latitude and longitude. Please do not type in your own latitude and longitude, as we use the Google Maps latitude and longitude. So on the first responder side, they are able to look up the information. So when I click the validate latitude and longitude button, it brings me a map, which I am able to move the flag that is on the map to verify where the address is, and then click to update my latitude and longitude. Once I validate and update my latitude and longitude, it will then change, and I know my information is correct. We have to answer the question on whether it's manned or unmanned, and the maximum number of occupants at any one time in that previous year. So if you had a school and shifts were on, and usually your shift's 20, but your school you had 45, so now you have 65 people there. So you have to add anybody that could be on, contractors or anything. So just think of it as you have to call 911 from your facility, and they're responding. They need to know the maximum number of people that could be there, and it makes an easier response for the first responders. Next is the type of facility. This is where you must answer the questions whether you're a 302 facility, a Tier 2 facility, also a TRI, which is a Toxic Release Inventory facility, a Clean Air Act facility. You must click yes there as well. Underneath the submission, this is the person that is certifying this Tier 2 report, which is the name and official title of owner-operator or the owner-operator's authorized representative. And you must put their name in there and their title. And then I click Save and Continue. When I click Save and Continue, it takes me to my facility identification. Under my facility identification, there must be two things in here. The first one is a Dun & Bradstreet number. You must add your Dun & Bradstreet, as well as your NAICS code. If you are a TRI facility, this is also where you would put in your TRI. Also, your RMP number, you would put that in here as well. And any other numbers that you would like to add to this. Under state fields, some states will have state fields such as Alabama, where you will have to put a master ID number. If you have the master ID number, please enter it. If you do not have it, please enter TEMP, temp, and you're able to move on to the next field. Under my next field is my documents. This is where I can upload a site plan, which some local jurisdictions require, as well as SDSs, safety data sheets, as well as emergency response plans, and anything else that you think would be good for first responders to have. So if you have a document that you think first responders should have access to, please upload it under the Documents tab. And the maximum size is 9 megs. When I click Next, it will go to my Add a Contact. But since I just need to update my current contacts, I will, at the top of the page, click my Contacts List, and then click my Edit button, which will take me to my first contact. I will go through my first contact to make sure I have that information. Now, federal requirements say you must have an owner-operator with the name, mailing address, phone number, and email. You must have an emergency contact title with title, name, and 2 phone numbers, one of which must be a 24-hour number. The emergency contact must be someone that is familiar with the chemicals and the processes at the facility. It can't be a security guard at the front gate unless the security guard has a PhD in chemistry and knows all the processes and the chemicals at the site. It must be someone that knows the chemicals and the processes at that site, and that phone must be answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And then the third is a Tier 2 information contact, which is the title, name, email, and phone number. Those are the musts. If you are a 302 facility, you have to add a 4th contact, which is your facility emergency coordinator. So Tier 2 reporting facilities have to have 3. 302 reporting facilities have to have 4. When I click Save and Continue, this will take me to my phone numbers, where I have to have a 24-hour phone number, as well as my facility association, where I'm able to add this person to another facility. Now I'm going to go under my chemical list. At the top, I clicked on Chemical List and brought down my chemicals, and then I clicked Edit under Chlorine. When I clicked my Edit button, it brings up my information for my chlorine, where my CAS number and my chemical name are already put in there, as well as days on site, the physical state, the hazards affected, and health effects. Under quantity, this is where I put my maximum daily amount in pounds at any one time. So this facility receives 689,000 pounds. On site, it will have that. But the average is 49,000 pounds. This is also where, at the bottom, you can see we have in blue, there is a note. You are able to submit chemicals that are below the threshold. So if you would like your first responders to know that you have ethyl methyl death on site, you are able to do that, even though you may only have 1 pound or 2 pounds. and it's below the threshold planting quantity. And if you can read the bottom again, it talks about EPGRA and the list of lists. You click on the consolidated list of lists link, and it will take you and open that up for you as well. Moving forward, when I save and continue, it takes me to my storage location. This is where I add my storage locations for that chemical. So as you can see, this chemical is stored in building 3. All right. It is in a cylinder. It is greater than ambient pressure. It is ambient temperature. And then my location, like I said, is building 3. And then I can add that. Now, I can add multiple locations. So if I have XYZ chemical in 4 different locations, I can add all 4 different locations and put the maximum amount at each one of those locations. When I go into talking about batteries here in a few, I will show you how you can do that as well. Under my mixture components, this is where I can add mixture components, where I added chlorine as 10% and then sodium thiophosphate as 90%. So you're able to add those in as well. Now, let me go back one. Validate record, top right corner. When I'm done looking at all this information, I can click validate record. I know all my information is correct, I think anyway. But as you can see, under my facility cutting edge, there is something wrong. There is an error. So it says I need to edit my NAICS code because the official description is different than the one that was entered. So when I click on edit, it will take me to my NAICS code where I am able to edit and fix that error. Once I fix that error, I click validate again. And as you can see, my facility ID of 5807847 has passed all checks. At this point, I need to upload my data to ePlan. So once it's done, I click my upload data to ePlan, and I get my facility submission report. As you can see here, my validation status is passed, but my filing status is still not filed. So I check my box next to cutting edge, put in my email addresses that I need to send this report to, and click submit. When I click submit, it will take me to my payment page. North Carolina and Florida looks different than this, but the other states and counties, except Warren and South Carolina and Montana, because at that point you'd be done because it's free in those 3, but the rest of you will get this payment. And at this point, we're getting pretty late in the game, so we must receive the payment before March 1st in order for you to be in compliance. Let me say that one more time. We must receive payment before March 1st in order for you to be in compliance. So when I click my credit card payment and click submit, it takes me to my invoice where I'm able to download my invoice, and then I can pay by credit card. If I pay by credit card, I click on the link and it will take me to my credit card link. Once this is filed, I am then able to download it and look at the information in a Tier 2 submit file or zip file or PDF. But before that, it will not let you download it unless, or it will, on your PDF, it will show draft. Okay, that was a brief description and overview of how to submit a Tier 2 report using ePlan. Here is my contact information. What I suggest to you is please do not call me. Let me say that again. Please do not call me from now until after March 1st. My phone has been ringing off the hook, and as of right now, I've missed 4 calls since I've been on this webinar. But please email me, and I will get back to you as soon as I get a chance. So please email me. Here's my information. With that, now let's answer some questions that you have. We just have a few, which is nice. Okay. You mentioned percent by weight. Can you explain what is meant by percent by weight? Percent by weight would be under your I believe you're talking about the mixtures, so it would be percent by volume in your mixtures. For Tier 2 report, is there a requirement to attach location of EHS storage? Depending on your location. Some places require you to submit the locations. Do we have to upload an SDS per product per location? No, you do not. Or having them in the chemical list is enough? Yes. Is number 2 fuel oil required if stored over 10,000 pounds? As I said, the first thing I said, and I'll reiterate it one more time, if OSHA requires you to have a SDS on site and you have over 500 pounds for EHS or the threshold planned quantity, whichever is least, or 10,000 pounds of non-EHS. We have a facility that periodically has to report TRI. We haven't determined that for 2016 at this point. Should we go ahead and click it? However, TRI is based upon cumulative amounts and not what is on site at any given time. If you are a TRI facility, you have a TRI number, then you must check that box and submit the number. What happens when we make changes after making the payment and filed? Are we able to make changes after payment filed? Depending on your state. North Carolina, you cannot make changes. You will have to go through the state. But other states before March 1st, yes, you can change up to March 1st. If you change after March 1st, that falls under a different law. But yes, you can change up to March 1st. How do we report batteries? I cannot tell you how to report. Let me reiterate that again. I cannot tell you how to report. All I can tell you is if you meet the thresholds, then you must submit. Tell me again how I find out if gasoline and diesel are EHS or non-EHS. Gasoline and diesel are non-EHS chemicals. You mentioned batteries as chemicals. Can you discuss? Yes, I'll show you that here in a little bit. What are the tabs across the top used for now? Example tab 302. That's if you add chemicals throughout the year, you use those tabs, depending on the state. But as of right now, the Tier 2 report is due. Yes, I will go through batteries here in a second. Can you comment on Florida State Emergency Response Commission Consolidated Annual Registration Form that requires a fee per employee? Yes, it does. It will ask you how many employees you have for your company throughout the state. How do you find out your NAICS and Dun & Bradstreet code? That's something that you have to find out from your company. How do you add a new chemical to the Tier 2 report? Good question. Very simply, to add a chemical to your Tier 2 report is when you click your, I'm going there, here we go. When you click on your file submission and click on the third, let me see if I can, pen, red, see, right here. If you click on that, that is your Add a Chemical button. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm going to review forklift batteries. I am a new EHS supervisor at my current location, and my manager is located at a different facility. Can I submit a Tier 2 report on behalf of the safety manager? Yes. You just have to put their name under the submission right here. Under submission, you put their name right here. We have some temporary fuel tanks for contractors doing some construction. How is this temporary fuel reported? If it was on site at any one time over the past 365 days, that means from January 1st to December 31st, and you meet the threshold of 10,000 pounds or more, then you must submit a Tier 2 report. I filed last year and tried to file yesterday, but the UT system would not allow me access even though it recognized my access code and password. Jason Bishop, please contact me. I have to get a little bit more information on that. Send me an email. Do I have to report batteries in fleet department? Again, I cannot tell you whether or not you need to report. Will your online submittal and this paper form complete Tier 2 registration for Florida? Yes. Does DEF have to be reported? Again, I cannot tell you whether or not you have to report. The law states if OSHA requires you to have an SDS, then you must submit if you meet the threshold. DEF is not an EHS chemical, so it would be 10,000 pounds. If you have two companies with different FEIN under the same account, is there an option to do a split payment, or does the fee cover both companies? Depending on your state, the fee will cover both companies, I'm assuming. Florida. You have to contact the state of Florida to see how to do that. That's on a state-by-state basis. Sorry. What if I do not have a CAS number but have the chemical name? If you can look it up to get the CAS number, you can Google, go to CAS. If it does not have a CAS number, I will show you that here in a second on how to do that. Do the LAPC and FD need to be submitted by March 1st as well? Yes. They must receive it by March 1st. The consolidated list of lists is your EHS chemicals. It says the consolidated list of lists, is this for EHS or non-EHS? It is for EHS. What is the difference between 302 and 312? 302 is based on chemicals and thresholds that are different than Tier 2 reports. And there's different requirements. How do I find out if I'm a 302, 311, 312, 313, or 112 facility? You have to read the laws and determine if you are or not. Under EPCRA, it specifically states that it is the responsibility of the industry to determine if they are a reporting facility or not. 3,240 gallons. This is, oh, sorry. Okay, this is a non-EHS chemical. Generators used for backup and electricity goes out. My new position, never reported before, so not sure what I need to do. If it meets the threshold of 10,000 pounds or more and is stored on site more than one at any one time, you must submit a report. That's all I can tell you. I'm sorry. Is combustible dust considered EHS or non-EHS? You will have to look that up. We are a convenience store. I'm sorry, Tiffany, I cannot answer that question. You will have to determine that on your own. That's what the law states. Okay, so it says, this is Michael Mauner. If I am a new employee and I made a new account in ePlan, can I view my company's last year data, edit it, and submit it to avoid entering everything over again? Yes. This is where you use the Contact Us button at the bottom of the page. Let me go back to it for you. Oh, sorry, wrong way. The Contact Us button at the bottom. Contact Us right here. Click on that. Give me your company's address and name, and we will send you that information. So yes, you do not have to start over. We will give you the access ID. Where can we find the LAPC addresses and fire department? 40 plants in 3 states. I'm sorry, there is no list, depending on the states that you're in and that. For Florida, are government facilities required to pay? No. Does the any one time on site also include the chemicals that are not EHSs? Yes. I found a CAS number on the SDS. I found a CAS number on the SDS. That's not a CAS number, that's why. CAS number can be made up only of numerical characters. Right, that is not a CAS number. Sorry, Charles, that is not a CAS number. I have 4 tanks at the same location. Can they be combined online or each separate? You can combine. If they're all the same chemical, they add all together. If our property has grown but the additional land is totally undeveloped, remote, and away from our inner business areas where our fuel tanks are located, should we change our longitude and latitude location? I don't think so. We do not have a Dun & Bradstreet number. If you do not have a Dun & Bradstreet number, please put NA in the number. Is signature required at the bottom of PDF Tier 2 report? For an employer with multiple facilities, if one facility tries to change the password using forgot password, will that jeopardize the set password for all the facilities? Yes. There's only one password. I'm trying to submit Tier 2 reports. I see a box to select all, but not individual boxes for facilities to select. I select all, but it requires me to select individual boxes which are not present. How can I get the program to show boxes for all facilities so I can select? The only way you show the facilities is if you have completed the reporting. So under your validation process, let me go to that for you. So I'm assuming this is Robert Pickert. I'm assuming you've gotten to this place, but you have no checkboxes. So you have to make sure that there are no errors. If there are any errors, it will not take you to this validation process. If there are no errors and you see validation status is passed and you still don't have checkboxes, contact me. But before you do that, make sure that there are no errors when you do this at this point. This webinar will be available after today, yes, on YouTube. Other than the Tier 2 submission to ePlan, to who else do we need to submit or provide a copy to? The local emergency planning commission and a committee and the fire department. All facilities are validated. All right, I will help you. There are no errors. I will help you, Robert. Please send me an email and I'll be able to call you after this. How are LAPC and fire departments notified in Florida? All LAPCs use ePlan in Florida. The fire departments, you must locally check with them. So let me say that again. LAPCs in Florida use ePlan, but the fire departments, not all of them do. So you need to locate that. Okay, that's all the questions I have for right now. What I'm going to do now is actually bring up, a facility and how to submit so that you can see how I go about submitting. Okay, so when I log in, all right, this is what it looks like right now. And you see all these tabs up top. As of right now, these are nothing. This is for North Carolina, and that will be used later on in the year. So I'm going to click on my 2016 because I've already copied it, and I'm going to scroll down. As you can see, not filed, not filed, not filed, not filed. So I'm going to talk about sulfuric acid batteries. This is a facility that I made up yesterday, and it's just a test facility in Alabama as I went through. All right. So I will go to the chemical list, and I will click edit so you can see. Now, how you can do a batteries. This is one of the ways that you can do it. Submit it as a mixture where the CAS numbers would be 0, the chemical name, which would be sulfuric acid batteries, It does fall under the EHS because, I will show you in a minute, you meet the threshold. Physical state, obviously, I'm saying we have 10,000 pounds, but the maximum in the largest container is 2,000. So we have 5 batteries at 2,000 pounds apiece. And when I save and continue, it takes me to my storage locations. As you can see, forklifts. So when I click edit, it brings this down. Storage type, battery, ambient pressure, ambient temperature, location, forklifts. At that location, 2,000 pounds. Okay? And when I click update, it will change anything. The next one is my charging station. So at my charging stations, I always have 2 batteries. Okay? And that's where my locations are. Now, when I go to my mixture components, this is where you can do sulfuric acid is 90%. All right. So when I click edit, it automatically takes me here, my CAS number for sulfuric, and then my percentages. Same thing with my lead, because it's sulfuric acid and lead, and these are my percentages. Don't take my percentages. This is an example. All right. This is only an example. Please get your percentages from the SDSs or the manufacturer of your battery. Once I am done and I look and see all my state fields are done, and I upload my documents if I need to, and then I validate my record. When I validate my record, I do have 1 error on this facility now, but these 2 have passed. So if I have this error, it says contact information is required. Oh, let's edit this for billing. 24-hour number. I'll just do a mobile. And add it. And now I click my validate record. And as you can see now, they've passed all their tests. When I click upload data to ePlan, passed, passed, passed. Okay? And none of the checks are there because my invoices are already generated. That's why. My invoices are already generated. That's why there's no check boxes. So now when I come up to my invoice for 2016, you'll see that I have 2 invoices, plus my third is for North Carolina. If I do my North Carolina, it's totally different. I have to click here to go to the North Carolina. To pay these 2, I click pay by credit card, and I'm able to pay. When I go to my Tier 2 filing management, as you can see, my filing status is not filed. Still not filed. Okay? Still not filed. If I want to add a chemical to this facility, I click on this one right here, add new chemical. When I click there, it takes me to my chemical. My CAS number, I don't know what my CAS number is, so I click look up. When I drop down, it's going to be let's see if DEF is even in here. Nope. So I don't even have it in here. So let's say it's gasoline. Use that chemical. And then I can add my information. Okay? And that's my filing home. And now, as you can see on here, it's not there because I didn't finish it. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Couple questions. What about LAPCs in South Carolina? Some use it as ePlan and some do not, but the state does. Is this ePlan submission similar to last year's? Yes, very similar. Is there an area to view contact list other than on the individual plant? No. You have to go to each individual plant. Using an example of combustible dust, if the cumulative number for the year is 14,000 pounds, but not at any one time on site, would that need to be reported? Again, the only thing I can say is if you meet the threshold at 10,000 pounds at any one time. Battery pounds is total battery weight. That depends on how you would like to submit batteries. What is a material such as hydraulic oil does not have a CAS number? You would use zeros, type hydraulic oil, and then put your weights in. Roseanne, you can submit your batteries how you feel. I cannot tell you how to do it. The orange dots around the chemical mean that is an EHS chemical, an extremely hazardous substance. That's what that means. Thank you for asking. For the battery weight, I assume you use the weight of the forklift. No. I just threw numbers in there. They did not mean anything. I do not have batteries. I do not have a SDS that tells me how much they weigh. I don't have any of that. I just put numbers in. So you have to determine your numbers. The web address to file is tier2.erplan.net at the top of the page right here, tier2.erplan.net. You mentioned when the state required fields are completed, so ePlan knows what states you are filing for and has the appropriate fields that are needed. Yes, absolutely they do. And I will show you Alabama. Under Alabama, state fields has the master ID number. Okay? So yes, they do. Let me try, I don't know if I have Florida or not. Let's see. What are my facilities? Do I have Florida? No, I don't have Florida. I think this one's Texas. But it may say state fields. So then in Texas, these are your numbers that you need to have. So that, yes, each state it'll automatically update for you in here, yes. If you have a new plant that only operated the last month of the year, so do we still need to report? Yes. At any one time, the previous year, at any one time. So yes, you need to still submit. We have added a small tank amount of marine fuel. Can that be grouped in with our unleaded fuel, or would this now have to be a new chemical? You have to determine that on your own. I'm sorry. I can't tell you how to submit your report. Is there a way to copy contacts or chemicals from one facility to another? Yes, you can copy contacts. You're not able to copy chemicals, though. So contacts, if I need to copy this person, I go to Edit. I go to Facility Association, and I can make this person on all these facilities. So if I check these boxes here, and I say that now that is the fire department. No, that's not. Let's say a primary, and then I click Add. Now that person is the primary at all those. So yes, you can add that. Chemicals, you are not able to do that, though. Chemicals, you're not able to add to multiple facilities. That is a good suggestion, though, and I will forward that on up the chain to see if we can do that for next year. Company name change, do I need a new ID? No. Does Oklahoma use ePlan? No. Other type of batteries that need to be reported for Tier 2. I don't understand the question. Alex says other type of batteries that need to be reported for Tier 2. Okay. That ends the questions at this point. Again, I will put my contact information up one more time. Please do not call me. Please use my, here, I'll even delete my phone number on there so you don't even have it. Please email me at m.marshall@utdallas.edu, and I will be able to assist you. Okay? At this point, I want to thank you for tuning in, and this will conclude our webinar for today. Thank you again.